so we won't have any. We won't have any of the preamble, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Well,
I'll put a little bit.
we'll have
I'll put a
some,
little
and then
bit.
I'll cut out when I'm like talking
I mean-
about my box wine. I think it was the box wine. I think I maybe
Let's
moved
go
too
back
much.
to the box wine.
Let's go back to the box wine. This here is Tesco's finest box wine Shiraz. It's three bottles, and it's
Not sponsored.
it's like £12. It's £12.
And how long does it take you to get
Cheap.
through one box?
About an hour.
How many are you getting through a week?
No, we go through like one a week.
That's not bad. There's
Yeah.
two of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
mean, this is
alright.
intermixed with, like spirits and also beer.
Yeah, beer doesn't count.
And beer, yeah.
Come on.
But we've started, right? So we've upped our game because we used to get the buds like 20 for £10, right?
Oh yeah.
We're now on tinnies at Carlsberg
Oh, wow.
because you get 18 for £10, right?
That's because it's
And-
Carlsberg.
Yeah, and they're the big cans though, so you get more beer, you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, see, I'd rather less Carlsberg.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
I'd rather
It's
no
not that bad. It's
Carlsberg.
not that bad though. It's not that
You're-
bad.
your standards have really slipped.
Yeah, but
in lockdown.
our standards in lockdown have really slipped.
I
Really
got
slipped.
excited because I got orange juice in the Sainsbury's order we got today, and I'm gonna have it with my prosecco
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
because I
Nice
feel
and
like I may
frosty.
as well start sliding into wine mom now. Like it's gonna happen.
not?
I may as well just lean into it.
Yeah.
Hey, I drink rosé. Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
You love rosé.
Always love the rosé. Hey, check out my new projects. I make trip collages now.
Oh, look at
that's
that.
cute.
This is not a trip I went on. This is when Wayne went to the Philippines.
But it's like
you're
a lovely
making-
memory
you've
of when
made
you're
it for
allowed
him.
outside.
That's
Sorry?
pretty cool.
What?
It's a nice memory of when we were allowed outside.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm making a scrapbook.
That's really fun.
Look at you,
I can show
all
off.
wholesome and stuff.
Show
Oh,
off
yeah.
my hobby. I paint
wholesome.
nudes now.
Oh,
Did you buy that?
Yeah, we got it's from Hannah's
Nice.
Etsy.
Nice.
We
And
have-
you framed it as well.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hang it up in my kind of desk space, but I feel bad. She sent it several days ago, but then the frame didn't arrive, and I haven't hung it yet. And I want to take a picture and send it to her, like, look, but haven't hung. Like we have a whole photo frame set downstairs, which we put the photos in the photo frames about a year ago. We are yet to hang them. We have so much stuff. We got
We
a
need to
painting to hang. We've got this canvas which Kieran bought for me. I want to say 3 Christmases ago. Have not hung it
Look
yet.
at that.
But you bought a house. Why would you not get on it?
I don't know how stuff.
Isn't that the whole
It's
point of a
always like-
house? So you can hang things. Like we can't hang
Exactly.
shit in here.
I feel bad. I know we have one and we're not hanging stuff.
It's
I
just
printed a bunch of pictures there.
Oh
to
my
be
god!
hung.
Oh my god, cute! Look how cute we are!
It's so
Your hair looks really nice in that picture.
Thank you.
Right.
Danny, your hair, however, is becoming increasingly out
Well,
of control.
I know, mate. I know, mate. I just can't control it. I don't know what to do with it. I'm still thinking I'm gonna top knot it at some point.
You're getting to the point you're at the moment. You look like a young scientist who's just done an experiment that's gone slightly wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It looks like something has exploded into my face.
But like you're the protagonist of your movie, like, and you're secretly in love with the young assistant, and she's like, let's not make her an assistant. Let's make her the manager.
Oh wow! I
Fuck
feel,
that.
I feel like you've really thought about this. Thanks.
Real pitch.
It's so like frizzy as well. Like, look, jeez. So
Have I
rad.
ever told you guys about, and Kira, you're going to hate me for this, the musical that I one time made up on accident called A Tooth Full of Fish and a Bucket Full of Dreams?
I mean, that sounds incredible. Please do tell.
Sounds like a treat. Go on.
So, and I don't really know how it happened. I was at one point complaining that all Andrew Webber musicals sound the same, because they do. And the majority of his best work are songs that you can pick up and place in any other musical. So I started planning that I would make my own musical from his from the music he has already written, and I would title it A Tooth Full of Fish and a Bucket Full of Dreams. And it would be about a magical fish where there's a down on his luck fisherman, and he cooks and eats a magical fish. It gets stuck in his tooth. He pulls him out of the tooth. And you know Looney Tunes, you know the frog that does the hello my baby, hello my honey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically it's that but a fish version, and he teaches the whole town how to love.
Wow. I mean,
Okay.
you've really thought that through, haven't you?
I really did. And I got to the point where I was choosing songs and I thought I had to stop.
Hey, I listened to this guy. Look at his hair. You can trust that.
That is great hair. I'm sad this is a podcast because
I know,
Danny's
you
hair, I
couldn't see
can't... Tara, paint us a word picture. What does it look like?
Oh, I couldn't. I mean, it's something like if a hipster got like
Rained
really
on.
drunk and then like maybe fell in a lake,
Yeah.
but then like drank the lake water for bants because they were like no one drinks lake water.
I'm getting it. I'm
You
getting
know?
it. Let me
They're
paint
good
you
for the
another
nutrients.
Let me paint you another picture. You ever seen Addams Family? You know Cousin It? If like someone took a massive steaming shit on Cousin It and then decapitated his body and then
Well,
threw
that's
it in a
bleak.
lake
And then drank the lake water.
and then drank the lake water and
For
threw
the
it up.
nutrients.
Yeah,
That's what it
I was
looks
actually
like
just gonna
right
say I could take a screenshot and then make that the thumbnail for the YouTube.
It's funny. It's funny as
I
well.
feel like you
'Cause
should be Daddy with the box wine.
it's funny as well because we've just started. We've just started doing video calls on for like work because we used to do like just audio calls and then people were like, yeah, we're getting kind of like, you know, tired of not seeing people. We want to see people's faces. So like it's video as standard now. So whenever we have a call, it's video as standard. And every single one I've been on, everyone's like, your hair looks terrible. Cheers, thanks. I mean, there's not much
What
I
do
can
you do when
about
it's
it.
like your boss?
Yeah, I
You
know,
have to
like, yeah, no.
agree.
Do you-
Sorry, the way you started at the moment is going to make your Daddy be like, yes, business, yes, deadlines, yes,
Yes,
meetings,
yes.
meetings.
Yeah, important
Business,
meetings.
business.
Important meetings.
Business.
Mm. Talking about Sky and budgets and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah.
Business.
No, yeah, no one
Does
can
that
take me
mean
seriously.
you can't like wear pajamas anymore all day?
No,
'Cause
exactly.
If you're on video
Well,
calls.
what I do is I usually put on this hoodie, and then I've got like sort of like just a t-shirt underneath, and then I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah,
It looks like you're wearing nothing for what we.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Did anyone watch that video about
Nothing.
like the status symbol of when you go on Zoom chats what your background is? Because a lot of celebs have been doing bookcases.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're intelligent. You know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There was this one. He did the book. I don't think he was that famous. Okay, anyway, he did the bookcase. Wore like a shirt, suit. But he was wearing shorts, and it was just in frame. But the shorts looked like boxers.
Oh no.
He's like caught out, and he looks so casual. He's just like, yes, business.
Yeah, important things.
What I'm loving is having colleagues who are working from the garden. And like they're doing it
yeah.
effectively. Like they're working really hard at getting stuff done, but they're just sitting outside in the garden. As soon as it is 5 o'clock, they're just like gin and tonic. Why not?
Yeah. yeah.
Can you do that?
I mean, I could, but I would get. I'd get too hot.
Yeah.
Tara, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm white.
Oh,
Therefore,
that's what that is.
can't go out into direct sunlight. Will set on fire.
Yeah, we do burn up.
I was thinking it'd be more like when we tried to watch Westworld in the garden, and it was just like so bright
That was-
you could not see anything.
It was too hot and too bright. I've watched the same 3 episodes of Westworld about 5 times, and I've never progressed. And at this point, like, I know all the twists and turns, and I feel like I can't, like, I'm not about that timey-wimey life. I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan, I know you want me to be, but I will never be about that timey-wimey life.
No.
Timey-wimey life.
Yes.
What do you mean timey-wimey?
A life that's timey-wimey, where it's like, ooh, is this linear and non-linear?
Oh, I
Ooh.
see.
Yeah, it is.
Is this
very
the only
much
gimmick
timey-wimey.
of this movie? Yes. Does it improve the storytelling? No.
Yeah, that's a Nolan trait. That is. That's a definite Nolanism.
It annoyed me most in Dunkirk when it was like, this doesn't add anything to the story at all.
He loves it though, doesn't he? He doesn't want it to be like linear. He doesn't want it to be like so straightforward. He has to like jump about everywhere.
Isn't that literally what Tenet is going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got what's his face in it from Black Klansman. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
yeah.
Denzel Washington's son.
Are you guys going to go back to the
Mr.
cinema
Washington.
when it opens?
Mr. Washington Jr. to you.
What? When is it? When is it going to come out? Because I know the trailer says it's coming out in theatres. So.
Yeah,
At the
there's-
moment,
there's-
I think it's 18th of July. They're
Yeah,
saying.
they're still planning it for 18th
not-
of July, I think.
That's too soon.
It's probably
isn't
gonna
it?
it's probably gonna be the first movie that comes back.
Yeah, because some of the cinemas are planning to open up as soon as they change the rules here. They'll be opening up in July.
Anyway, I suppose I should bring us into the episode.
You should introduce us.
That's a very good point.
Might help.
My name's Kieran Prasad.
My name's Lissa.
My name's Danny.
Okay. Kieran
Dan-
just
Yeah, when you
pointed
point,
at the screen.
We, you,
we can't tell.
you can't see who it is.
He
You just
pointed at the
pointed.
left because Tara's on the left. Kieran, you're bad at this. And he's like, people can't see this. He's got a notebook. He made notes. He actually prepared.
I made
I mean, I'll
notes.
be honest, my notebook is empty.
I've
He's
made
trying to be
notes.
all professional. He's got his legs crossed.
Also, you're facing me, so for me that was the right, and then Danny's on the right,
Danny's on
and
our right.
you're at the bottom.
And then Tara's on our left.
Yeah, Tara's over here on the left.
That's
Danny's
me.
up here above me on the right.
Where you just pointed was my face.
Oh, bugger. Okay. Anyway,
Me, anyway.
Tara, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm maybe on the left. Who
And
knows?
Danny, who is not on the left.
Danny with the bad hair. Yes.
Aww,
Aw.
that's what they'll call you.
That's what they call me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's episode we're going to discuss, as we came up with last time, depictions of London in movies. This is, I mean, I have never not lived in London. This is
You
topic very close
Barely
to my
live
heart.
in London.
Controversial.
Controversial.
Okay, I've never not lived in technically London.
Yes, okay, fair.
Would you call yourself a Londoner or an Essex boy?
Like, I would say technically
Also,
London,
we definitely just revealed where we live.
culturally Essex. Like, I am an Essex boy, but I'm also kind of a Londoner. But not like, I would say more like double than, one or the other.
I would describe my.
That sounds like terrible.
I would describe where I'm from is the fact that I am from Essex, but we can be described as sort of being Londoners because we call it uptown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you say you are London in the streets, but Essex in the streets? I couldn't even
That's
say it.
I was going to make a joke about D&D multi-classing, so yours is way better.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was gonna say that our uni gang is made up of at least 50% Essex people in my head.
Because we
and
went
has
to
always been
Kent,
so.
which is about an hour from Essex.
Yeah.
Anyway, to the episode. So we're going to discuss, each of us has thought of a movie in which London is depicted. Good, bad, wildly inaccurate.
Sorry.
We'll come to it.
Kieran's really trying to keep this going. I just want to throw him off. I just want to derail the whole thing.
Let's
I
just
have-
screw with him. So my
Sorry,
depiction
it's been a
is
long
from Spider-Man 2.
You mess with one of us, you
Went
mess
in.
with all of us.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Have you ever seen The Mummy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, don't worry. We can get to The Mummy. The Mummy has depictions of London.
I know.
But okay, I thought I'll start us off with like,
Have you ever
it's
seen
not quite
Australia
enough.
with Hugh Jackman?
Oh my god, I love that movie. I actually love Australia. It's such a bad movie. It's so good. Like, it's so good. The bit where he shouts at the
London
beginning.
looks
Isn't it like 4 hours?
It's 4 hours long. The first half of the movie is about a cattle drive, and the second half of the movie is about war. They just do not go together, and it's so good.
So I thought I would start us off with a joke from comedian Technically Ron, and it's about Thor Ragnarok. So the second Thor movie. Thor arrives in Greenwich. No, he doesn't arrive. He arrives in Charing Cross in the movie. He lands there, and he has to get to Greenwich. So he walks up to the nearest Londoner, and he says, I need to get to Charing Cross, and the Londoner says, "Oh, that's 3 stops." That is
That's
hilariously
that's bullshit.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
so
It's about a
technically
20-minute journey.
So technically, Ron has written he has rewritten the script for us. So Thor lands, which way to Greenwich? And the commuter says, well, this is a Southend Bakerloo line, so you'll need to change at Waterloo, then get on the eastbound Jubilee line to North Greenwich.
Yes.
But that's actually not right next to Greenwich, so you'll have to get the 188 bus for
I was gonna say, it's a
15 minutes, get off at the Maritime Museum stop, or you can change at Waterloo and still get the Jubilee line, but get off at Canary Wharf, get the DNR southbound to Greenwich. Now, if you can stop talking and just stand there, that would be great. This is London, we don't talk on the tube.
It's so true. Oh my
It's-
god.
What I hate is I'm now at the age where I've fully understood all those instructions. I'm like, yes, I know exactly
Yeah.
where to go. Or if you're feeling like you want to have a whale of a time,
Yes.
take the Thames Clipper. Go on the boat.
He could have gone on the boat.
Thor could have gone on the boat,
Even
and it would have
better than the
given
Clipper.
the Clippers, because no one uses the Thames Clipper, and they should because it's fun. They would have given it so much industry. People would start using the Thames Clipper.
Because Thor did it. It's
Thor
just
did
Thor
it.
was just standing there
That's
with his
true.
hammer on the boat.
That's true. I feel like the only people who use the Clipper are tourists. Does any?
Yeah,
Wait, why didn't Thor fly?
That's it. Did he not have his hammer or something?
I've only seen that film once.
I
It
was
on
drunk
a
when
plane.
I watched it. I think I was with you, Tara.
Yeah. I love that she says it's 3 stops.
Yeah, just
Just
hideously
Just 3
inaccurate.
stops. Just
Uh,
on your way.
but
Did she
Thor too-
tell him? Did she tell him that he needs to get an oyster, or you can
Yeah.
sort of get a travel card, or
And also, she said that
he
probably
can
at that
contact
point-
us now.
I mean, any time of the day at Charing Cross, you're going to have to wait to get on the tube. Like, it's going to be rammed.
Yeah, and it's just wildly inaccurate. But Thor 2 does have, in it has a few shots of the wonderful Royal Holloway University, where my brother went to uni. Gorgeous old building there, just not even in London, actually. It's in Egham, which isn't London at all. But it's all in that sort of pretend London space.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's not the film I've picked, but we'll get round to that.
I think the most
Yes.
unbelievable bit about that isn't that she said it was 3 stops away. Was that she didn't sort of go, just tut and sort of turn her back on him.
Or just ignore it. Just,
Yeah,
walk,
just
ignore
completely
him.
ignored him.
Eyes fixed forward and walk. That's what we do in London.
Headphones on.
Yeah.
I sometimes get asked when I'm in London, like, for directions, and like I'll give them, but I always look at them like, you got a phone?
Yeah.
I hate when tourists ask me which way to go, because I am not good when it comes to the tube in terms of what is eastbound and westbound, especially when it comes to the Circle Line. It gets very confusing. And I used to have to take the Circle Line every day for work, and I got stopped one time by a couple. You're like, oh, how do we get to this place? And I gave them the wrong instructions, and I realised when I was standing there on the tube with them, and I was like, this is wrong. So I just said to them, you're going to have to get out at the next stop and ask someone who works at the station, because I have no idea. Because the Circle Line is confusing.
It's a circle.
It is.
No,
It's
but it's not.
was
It's
it-
not. There are some bits that break off and it gets weird.
Was it Bank Station? Because I have. If someone asks me for directions in Bank Station, I'm like, I don't even know where I am.
Is this
It's going to take
London?
me an hour to get out of here. How do you think I'm going to give you directions? We're
It does
stuck
like
in here
You
forever.
go all the way into the centre of the earth and then you wiggle your way out.
If I was evading the police, I would run into Bank Station because they would never find me.
I was once
He's gone out of
in-
exit 75.
I once tried to meet a friend at Bank Station. I was young and
I'm at
naive.
the
I didn't know
exit.
what I was doing.
I'm at the
We
exit.
did not find each other. Like, we were meant to be meeting for, it was her lunch break, and we wasted 40 minutes of it trying to find each other.
Go on, Tara. You were about to
Tara,
speak.
go.
I was once on Oxford Street. This was an early job I had. I was like 20 when I was being like a tour guide for foreign teenagers, like summer camps, and we had like a day trip to London. So we just like got off the tube or wherever, and they all like dispersed to Primark and what those teens do, and then their teacher asked me like, how do I get to Soho? But like that was one of the first times I'd been to Oxford Street on my own, and I had no idea. I didn't know it was, like, right there, like, next to it. So I was like, I don't think you can walk to it. I'm pretty sure it's... but the issue was, because I was just, like, very confused. And then some rando London person butts in and is like, oh no, it's just, like, down that way and then you go there, to the teacher. And I was like, okay, fine, fair enough. And she goes... But I was so angry because he made me look so stupid and I was meant to be the one in charge. I wanted to, like, headbutt that guy. Get out of my business.
That is the only annoying thing with London, where there are places which don't have tube stops. Soho should have a Soho tube stop.
Yeah, then I would know where it is.
Yeah.
When Tara said, oh, Soho, I was still like, I don't know where that is.
It's so true. You've got to come out...
It's because why would you go to Soho or Oxford Street if you
Oxford
weren't a
Street or
tourist?
Tottenham Court Road. That's or or like walk through Leicester Square or something. It's all sort of that in that area, Piccadilly Circus.
So is that all Soho?
It's all kind of Soho, yeah. It's kind of like an area between Tottenham Court Road, Oxford Street, and sort of Piccadilly Circus and and Leicester Square. It's all kind of that.
Right.
Yeah, ask that random guy who helped me out like 6 years ago. Obviously.
Now that we all have a collective understanding of the proper geographic topology of London, we can talk about movies.
We can indeed. We can go. We
Kira's
can
trying to put us back on the rails. I can feel him trying to do it.
Come on, that was good. I brought everyone together. Tara, what movie depictions of London did you pick?
So I ended up picking a couple because I didn't think they were very good, so I thought I'd back it up with another one. But I've just come to this sort of theory about bad depictions of London, in that I think when you have a bigger budget, the worse the depiction is. Like, it's more inaccurate.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be brighter, cleaner, less people, and it just looks very nice. But if you got a real low budget, so I was thinking Kidulthood, like, that's just film. They just went to London, got out a camera, started filming kind of film.
Yep.
Versus, say, Paddington.
That was going to be my pick!
No! All I want to say about Paddington, though, is just so bright, so beautiful, everything's clean. And then I looked up the salary of what a risk analyst makes in London, which is the dad's job. So they have like a 4-bedroom house, and it's beautiful. The street's perfect, and I don't think he can afford it on that salary. But then maybe he's a hustler.
It might have been
We went
inheritance.
past those houses. Where was it?
Primrose Hill.
Primrose Hill.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
Varfont.
I did also think about a boy, just because.
What were you thinking about
they
a boy
give a reason for, like...
We're talking about films.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Tara, be professional. Come on. This is a serious podcast.
But fine. About a Boy, the film
About a Boy?
with Hugh Grant.
You're not going to get past this joke.
So the film gives an explanation as to why he's rich, because he gets royalties from his dad's song. I don't know how you get that much royalties, but okay, fine. But then is it Toni Collette? She lives with her son, and it's just the two of them, but even their house is quite big. But she doesn't seem like she has a job because she's got some mental health issues.
Mm.
So I was wondering how that kind of worked out.
It's the
as
kind of
well.
adage, isn't it, of sort of like house depictions in films. I think we might have talked about it before in a previous podcast, but like Hugh Grant in Notting Hill, who has like his apartment like right on Portobello Road in Notting Hill, and he like just owns a sort of small independent bookshop. God knows how he affords that. Also Bridget Jones, who has her little like really nice apartment like right next to Borough Market, and she's just a sort of lowly presenter. I mean, how are these people?
I'm going to bring up an option which I know Kieran was going to bring up, but I also wanted to bring it up. Similar thing in About Time, where the version of him slumming it in London is him staying in this man's very nice house. And it's like
beautiful.
He's like he's like barely a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he's staying in this beautiful house. And then he moves into his girlfriend's beautiful apartment. And her job, I think she's like a proofreader. Like she's in some kind of like editing or publishing or something. which doesn't seem like an industry in which you would have a lovely, beautiful
No, so the
apartment.
core problem is the people who make films do not either understand or care about London real estate.
Well, they probably
Which
have
is
so much
ridiculous.
money. They probably have an unrealistic like image of money, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, they'll be able to afford that. Like, that's not particularly great."
Yeah.
I kind of like. I was going to bring up Paddington as well because I want to live in that version of London where
Yeah.
everyone lives on Primrose Hill. They treat like those fancy houses around Primrose Hill, and it's like a lovely little neighbourhood where everybody knows each other's names. You know the name of the people, like the bin men. You know the name of the person who sells you your coffee. Like you're all best buds,
And there's
and
like
it's all very, very diverse, and everyone gets on super well, and is very against the racist neighbour, which is just like that doesn't really happen in London.
the sort of lane where there's like cherry
Absolutely.
blossom, and it's kind of all over the floor, and it's just pink trees everywhere.
Think about the water damage that Paddington did to their
Yeah.
house. Because he like floods the bathroom. So they've got to fix that. The risk analyst is on 50k a year. The mum's an illustrator, which I don't think you make that much money.
Also,
And
the
just,
pirate guy who has the sort of mast and the cannon at the top of his house, like the council's not going to approve that. Planning permission for that? No.
Wait, isn't that in Mary
Yeah.
Poppins?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that in Mary Poppins? Am I confusing the two?
Oh, yeah.
The pirate guy's definitely Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
You're
he's not
so
quite
right.
a sailor.
Oh god, same film, innit?
But it is basic. But again, Mary Poppins is a great example
Yeah.
of it. Of like,
They're
look how lovely it is. I just think it's it's
that-
unrealistic depicting anything in London having more than one story. Like you have like everything's one
Yeah.
level. If you have 2 levels, you're a millionaire.
yeah, exactly. Also, is Julie Walters their maid?
They don't make it clear, but I feel like she's a live-in maid.
Yeah, she's not a family member. I looked up her surname's different.
she's-
I looked
Mrs.
up on
Burke,
Wikipedia,
isn't she?
okay? I've searched everywhere.
Okay. I called up her agent,
I
right?
stalked her.
She's.
I
think
was
she's-
standing outside of her house and I questioned her up against a wall.
But I do like that in
That'd be
Paddington it is this kind of like, I want Paddington to be real, not because that would just mean I'd be able to afford a really nice house in central London, but also the community that it depicts is so friendly and lovely, and there's just like a Jamaican band there the whole time, and like everyone's really accepting
Like in
of
the
each
middle
other.
of Primrose Hill, where there's no reason to play. There's no foot traffic. There's no shops.
But I like that. Like I like Paddington anyway because I like that it's ethic. I like its ethics. I like the message that it has without being too overt. I think it's great, and I want to live in that version of London where everyone's like, "Hey, you know what? Racism is bad. Maybe immigration's a good thing." And it's like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we lived in that world where people believed that? Because they should.
In Paddington 2, there is a riverfront prison. There's no way riverfront real estate is being used for
That
a prison.
whole depiction of the prison, to be fair, it leans into the fact it's not realistic. They have a cooking club.
Oh,
Yeah, and like the guy's about to murder him, but then he gives him some marmalade and he's like, chill.
I want to watch Paddington 2 again. That movie's so good. The bit at the end with Hugh Grant and he does the song.
maybe one of the best 5 minutes in cinema history.
So good.
I
Hugh
don't
Grant
think
is,
I've seen
he was
Paddington
robbed
2.
of an Oscar nom. You've got to watch Paddington 2.
only
It's
seen-
so good. Arguably better than 1.
Really? I've seen the first one. I really like the first one, but I've not seen the second one.
First one is great. Second one is potentially better.
What?
For sure.
Smashed it.
Alright. Moving on, Danny. What was your pick for London depiction?
My one is one that I might have mentioned before. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the podcast, but I definitely mentioned it to you guys. But I think it's a recent film. It's called Bloodshot, and it stars Vin Diesel in being the most Vin Diesel-y Vin Diesel he has ever been. It is essentially. I don't even want to explain the premise of the movie because it is honestly shocking.
I want to know.
And
I want to know. Tell us.
The premise of the movie.
I have
The
no idea
premise
what
of the
it's
movie
about.
is that some American agency is creating like super soldiers by injecting like I don't even know, like nanobit technology into the bloodstream of dead soldiers, essentially resurrecting them and making them indestructible and like super strong. It's so
Love it.
essentially they're
Love it.
weapons, but um, they have the ability to kind of like reset him um, and stuff like that. So essentially, they send him on like a sort of vendetta mission to kill someone, but then spoilers, they reset him and then send him on like another. So essentially, he's just like a hired gun, but he doesn't really know why he's going to kill these people. He thinks that they've killed his wife or something. I don't know. I don't even want to go into the details of how shockingly shite it is. But um, essentially, there is a depiction of London in the film that is possibly the best depiction of London I've ever seen, because it's not London. It just really is a million miles away from London. And when I say a million miles away, it's South Africa. It's fucking Cape Town. So let me set the scene for you. There's this scene that comes up, and they show sort of like a sort of helicopter drone shot of Soho, and it comes up in the letters at the bottom.
Wherever
location,
that may be.
Soho's. We don't know whether you have to take a bus there, whether we're at Oxford Street. We don't know whether it's just round the corner. But it very clearly is Soho, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Soho. What it cuts to is fucking not Soho. I don't know where it is, but anyway, it's like there are like palm trees, and I don't know what's
Palm
going
trees.
on. I'm not even joking, and they're
Kew
all driving
Gardens?
on the wrong side of the road for a start. The police cars do not look like British police cars. Everyone is ridiculously tanned. All of the white people are suddenly ridiculously tanned.
They're not. They're not British police cars. They're British.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Excuse me, sir, which way to Leicester Square?"
Just came from
Excuse me, mate.
Soho.
Which way's to Houses of Parliament? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, which way? Just down there. All right, great, thanks. Anyway.
Oh, cool. Are we all seamlessly falling into our South African accents? Liz, why don't you, do you want to join in?
Have you seen that bit? Have you seen that big
Sidestep that
Ben?
one right there.
You seen that big Ben? Yeah, great, isn't it? Yeah, so good. Anyway, they all drive on the left-hand side of the wrong side of the road, right-hand side of the road, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe don't fact check me on that.
Whatever the other one is.
Whatever the other one is. Anyway, and they're definitely not British police cars, that's for sure. And they literally they're like running through these streets and these back streets, and this is meant to be Soho, by the way. So like you've been set up the fact that this is Soho, and it's just ridiculous. I just urge you to just watch that scene. It hurt my head. We were all in the cinema and we just kind of looked at each other because we work in Soho. So the ironic thing about it is we watched it at work, and we work in Soho. So we all kind of just looked at each other like, what the fuck?
The Closed Cinema podcast would like to apologise to the country of South Africa for any offence caused.
I'd like to point out, Kieran is not alone in the South African accents. There is a show that I watch frequently which is called Below Deck, which is about people who work on super yachts. It's great reality TV fun.
That sounds amazing.
It's so good because they all sleep together.
I love watching like rich people.
It's so good because like they all like work in really like small areas, and like they're all like fighting down below, and then they come up and they like serve champagne. It's great.
Sorry, is it factual fiction?
It's a reality TV.
What's it called? Below Deck.
Oh.
It's called Below Deck. There are now 3 iterations. There's Below Deck Mediterranean, and Below Deck Sailing Yacht. All are great. Start all at season 3, then it gets good. Anyway, one of the quite frequently on the yachts they get people who are from South Africa working on the yachts, and there was one guy in particular who I believe he was in Below Deck Med. No,
it doesn't matter where he was in, but
he's
South African,
and his name was João, and he works on deck, which in a South African accent sounds like
Dick.
A Danny Fairchild!
João!
And I mean, I have to say, from what my understanding, he's a very competent dickhead.
He's very good at his job. But he had a whole season where he was leading 2 girls on. He was the bad guy, and he came back, and he was a good guy. It was very honestly, Below Deck is 10 out of 10.
How did you
Joe
find
Franco.
that?
I watch a lot
Below
of Bravo productions. The same people make all the Real Housewives. Of course I'm gonna watch it. But Below Deck is if you need stuff to watch during lockdown. Below Deck, 10 out of 10.
Do you need me to clean your dick?
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wiping down the dick.
Do you want me to wipe down your dick?
I'm out here. I'm alone. I'm wiping down the dick. It's so good. Nobody's helping with the dick. Okay, right. The Close Cinema podcast would like to apologise to the nation of South Africa. Moving on.
I like your PSA voice.
We all love South Africa. South Africa is great. South Africans are great. It's just the way you say deck is very funny.
So I think actually Bloodshot is a high budget movie, so it does fit in with Tara's theory that the higher the budget, the worse depiction.
But I mean, I have no.
The higher the budget, the closer to God.
I have no idea why, the production scout or whatever was like, why don't we just film this in Soho? Why don't we film this in London? They made no effort to be like.
Because you can't afford it.
Well, it's a big Hollywood film made by a big.
Vin Diesel's a heavy guy. He's.
Yeah, but honestly, no one actually.
If you had the choice of filming in
so
London or South Africa, I'd want to be. Cape Town's really nice. Why would you want to come to London where it's busy and full of tourists? Go to Cape Town. It's lovely.
Yeah. There is also another part of the movie where I think they drive to Yorkshire, and I mean, it does not look like Yorkshire. They just get England completely wrong.
How long did the
what?
drive
There's
take
the guy
is the
from
question.
New Girl. I think his name is Lamorne Morris. Do you know that guy?
Is he Winston?
He plays Winston. Yeah. He's in it, and he does a British accent, and it is fucking worse than Dick Van Dyke.
Is it like an Ocean's 11?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11. Yeah.
I love Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11. 10 out of 10. That's one for movie.
You know what? I have.
Is Ocean's 11?
I have Bloodshot on my screeners. Let's do a Discord. Let's watch it. I can get it for us right now.
Right, everyone, turn off your mics.
It's on Netflix.
Oh my god, can we watch Ocean's 11?
Is that the next one?
I'm so down.
This is the most impossible to wrangle podcast.
We're so rowdy
I've been
today.
podcasting for 6 seasons, and this is the most challenging hosting I've ever had.
Get us back on course, Kieran.
Kieran,
Sorry,
the most challenging one you had is when
listeners.
you needed a solo one when we watched the Warcraft movie, and it was just me yelling at Kieran for an hour.
You watched the Warcraft
I know,
movie?
and it's because I took him to see Cinderella, and he was like, well, you've got to come with me and see Warcraft. I was like, this is not a fair exchange. Cinderella was actually good.
We didn't know at the time. The Warcraft movie could have been good.
And it wasn't.
If it's a video game film, just lower your expectations to the
Warcraft
floor.
is another one for movie night, because I would watch that with alcohol. There was one character, the orc character, who was great, and everyone else was terrible.
Oh, what was it? Thrall's dad. What's his name?
I can't remember, but he was really good.
Yeah,
and they've got a woman in it who's meant to be part human, part orc, and she's just a human with fake teeth, and it looks so bad because all the orcs are CG, and she just looks weird.
And she just doesn't fit in at all because she's not CG.
And there's a fake Aragorn, and there's a little Harry Potter boy wizard character who's really bad. Oh, it's so bad.
And how does London
it
look
looks
in it?
great.
Finally, an accurate depiction. I actually have a question. So I saw something on a film site or something the other day that basically shows all the filters that they tend to use for different places.
I saw that too.
If you're in Eastern Europe, then everything's slightly washed out, and if you're in LA, everything's sort of golden and glowing.
Yeah.
I feel like the filter for London is just a little too blue. You know what I mean?
It depends on the movie,
Yeah.
because if you're in a Richard Curtis movie, it's got kind of a rosy hue to it. It's always May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either May or spring. It's either spring or autumn, really. It's kind of got that gold tinge to it.
And rainy days are either because you just had a breakup or because it's a really romantic kiss. It's not ever a random rainy day.
Or you're wearing a jumper and there's a log fire. and therefore it's fine for it to be raining outside.
Yeah.
Oh, the weather, isn't it terrible? This one day of rain we've had.
And it's always so that this is London rain is on most days is just a sort of like the mildest inconvenience level of rain, like just enough to piss you off, but not enough to cause any real material impact on your
You
day.
say that you're a dude. You can get damp. We're women. We can't get damp.
Okay, fine.
We melt
But
in the rain.
it's always damp. It's damp rain. It's never like it's rarely extreme rain. But in movies, all London rain is extreme. You're never filming something and it's just like a bit rainy.
Yeah, it doesn't have the kind of the kind of misty rain that we
Yeah,
get.
the honest truth of London is just kind of
It's
rain.
always like
It's always torrential,
it's-
isn't it?
real London rain is that it's not enough to justify an umbrella, but you want to use your umbrella.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But you're British, so you're kind of worried that people will be like, why have you got an umbrella up? It's like not even
I
that
think
much.
a sort of thing that they do in films. I know that they definitely did it in Singing in the Rain. Is to put milk in the water to make it appear.
And do you know he had the flu when he did that scene?
Did he?
When you know that the whole Singing in the Rain sequence, he was horrifically ill, had a high fever, and like every time I watch it with my mum, the bit where he kind of puts his hand down underneath the gutter and the water comes down him, she's like, "Oh no, Jean, you're horribly unwell."
Oh, bless her.
She's
It
such
really
a
bothers
mom.
her that she's like, "Oh, he was so unwell." But yeah, the milk thing is
The
definitely
milk thing
You
is
nailed
pretty cool. Yeah, the milk thing is pretty cool.
All right.
What's your
I
one,
was gonna say-
Kieran?
Right, my pick was it's a film I haven't seen until recently, but Alyssa made me watch it at Christmas, and it's a wonderful sort of Christmassy movie. I didn't hate it, but the depiction of London is laughable, and that's The Holiday.
That's
The
so
thing,
true.
there is one thing that The Holiday gets right, is that anyone who works at like whatever publishing company she works at in London would not live in the city, she would live in the suburbs. And she has to like get the train home. The problem is the short train she takes out of like Waterloo or whatever, in just a half an hour or something, magically transports her to the middle of the countryside. Like it's the most lush, empty, foresty kind of place. The tweest little English village where everything's cobblestone and covered in snow, and she has to do like a 40-minute walk from the train station back to her perfectly picturesque cottage. But it's just so far from any commutable distance to London that it's completely unreasonable.
Right, I've looked up the town because I did this when we watched it last time.
Yeah.
The town is actually called Shear, in Surrey, and I just lost it. So it's actually Guildford. I'm going to quickly look up how long it takes to get to
Guildford's
Waterloo.
not
'cause I
too
imagine
far,
that's
to
the
be
line that it would be
fair.
on.
Guildford's not that far out of London, I don't think. I think you
It would take
it from
Waterloo
Waterloo.
to Shear would take an hour and 20 minutes.
Ah,
And that's before. That's from the
before
train
she does her
station.
40-minute
Her
walk.
house is nowhere near the train station. So her commute is 2 hours easy.
Yeah.
And they make it look like she's like 20 minutes. Like you go from the centre of London and then suddenly beautiful countryside.
You know what?
Why
She's been taking direction.
she feels
You know what?
such
She's
a
been
mess.
taking directions from that tourist that Thor asked.
But that's another example of a house where they act like it's like this really run-down cottage, and like Cameron Diaz's like, amazing place in LA is like stunning. But this cottage probably costs millions. Like those kind of places are so
Yeah.
expensive, and it's supposed to be like this little run-down place. And she like, I'm fairly sure that her job in that movie is that she writes in the newspaper about people's like wedding announcements.
Right.
Yes,
That's
so
her
true.
job.
Oh my
And she's able to
goodness.
afford this really, really lovely on her
On her
own. And, like,
own.
and her brother, who I don't know what he does as a living, but he just seems like
His house
his house is bigger,
as
and all he
well.
seems to do is like go to the pub, pick up women, and look after his daughters.
And,
Like,
and
he
get
doesn't have a
drunk.
job.
Because it's a single parent household.
He doesn't have a job.
That
At
is
any
actually-
point.
that
He has
is-
so much free time to date Cameron Diaz.
There's another thing that annoys me about that movie. No one in London, in fact, no one in England is as attractive as Jude Law. Like
Well,
it's
he's
just,
English.
it's It's just not possible.
Hate to break it to you, he is English.
No, he's perfect.
We have some handsome men. Danny, one of them.
Maybe if he gets a haircut.
Not.
Oh, you bitch!
Hello, ladies.
Okay, right.
Sorry, ladies, he's taken.
I don't know if anyone's been to LA, but do we think that was maybe an accurate
I mean,
representation?
that's how I imagine LA in my head.
I mean, you have to hope.
That's
You
how
have
I
to hope.
imagine it.
These people live in LA.
I mean-
Like, Hollywood is there.
Yeah,
They at
if
least
they
must
get it wrong,
home.
Guys,
if they get LA wrong, then what? I mean, what chances for the rest of the world? You know?
I don't want to claim to be an expert, but I have watched all seasons of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I can confirm that for very rich people, their houses do look like that.
Okay.
The thing
okay,
is
like,
houses in America are massive. They have a lot of land, and also they're fairly cheap as well. Their houses, because they're not made out of brick. They're made out of wood and sort of cheap PVC.
Paper, yeah.
That's why
just
they
some
all
pipes.
yeah. So that's why they all have massive houses.
I once looked up, because...
Yeah, if you ever go on the if you ever go online and look at house prices in America, for 200 grand, you'd be able to get a pretty big house in America.
One time when because Kieran's got a family live in Orlando, I looked up how much houses were in Orlando. So for the sake, the house that we have is a very small, really it's a 2-bed terrace house.
On the edge of London.
On the
and
edge
it does
of
take us
London,
an hour and 5 to get into the city.
In a not it's a nice enough area,
Yeah.
but it's not a fancy area. To get in Orlando for the same amount of money our house cost, you could get a 5-bed house with en suites and a pool.
Yeah.
And
It's
a
mad.
garage.
It's mad. It is honestly mad.
But you spend the money you saved on
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
you don't
true.
save in America, and you get 2 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
And generally, it's
And you have to
bad in
tip.
America at the moment.
And
Don't
you
really
have
want
to
to be
tip.
there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
much tipping.
You
man.
do have to tip.
Honestly,
Yeah, I think
America
that's so unfair. It's just pay them. Pay them
Yeah.
a normal salary.
America thinks
You
they're the
monsters.
greatest country in the world, but tipping has just tipping is an absolute travesty.
I mean, that and the police brutality, but...
Yeah, but the tipping, no.
But the tipping, though.
All right, so I think we've all had a go at our London movie depictions. Were there any others that people thought of?
I wanted to throw in
Couple of
28
honourable
Days
mentions.
Later
Ooh.
in terms of
Yeah.
it's not that it's a good or a bad depiction. It's just very interesting to see London that way, and it's not
Yeah.
CGI. He just filmed it very early in the morning and managed to clear out, Trafalgar Square and all these places. It's just really interesting because you never see
Well,
it.
apart from right now.
Apart from right now.
Oh, thanks for the reminder about the crushing nature
But
of our reality, Liz. I
In
forgot.
a different fun fact, in About Time, there's a scene in which they go and do a dining in the dark experience, where basically you eat food and it's completely pitch black. And I went and did it, and it was very fun. I ate pigeon.
What?
I know. I thought it was beef.
And it was pigeon.
They
No,
they
they don't
didn't
tell.
tell
They
you
don't
that?
tell you what the menu is. You pick either a menu where you eat meat, a menu where you eat fish, or a vegetarian menu. And I picked the meat menu, and I I was with a group of girls, and one of the other girls was convinced it was lamb. I was convinced it was beef, and it was pigeon.
And it was pigeon.
That sounds really fun. I didn't know
It
you
was
could
really
eat
fun,
pigeon.
and the food was absolutely delicious, and the waiters were excellent, and I highly recommend the experience. So, not sponsored, but it was great.
It's like when we went to Brooklyn to that
Oh
cinema.
yeah, that was great.
Remember?
Yeah, and then you got to order your food into the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's not that it's pitch black, but it's,
Yeah.
cinema in the dark. I never saw what I was eating.
Yeah, I think the idea was
That's what you think,
It
Tara.
it was like hand food, wasn't it? It was sort of like chicken wings or pizza, hamburgers, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
You don't want to think about it too much because you're watching Ladybird.
I mean, that was
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Oh, that's
though.
cool.
It was so good. It was
Yeah, it
it was
was.
so cool. And we went to that dive bar beforehand. That was cool. And
And drink
Brooklyn lagers.
Brooklyn Lager.
Yeah, good
Good
times.
times.
You
Anyway, Kieran,
Yeah.
if you could get
Shit,
back on
Kieran,
track.
wrangle us in.
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
reel it in,
Kat.
Kieran. What
lead
kind of
us.
host are you? Jesus. This is a podcast,
Any more
goddammit.
quickfire London depictions?
Lead from the top, Kieran. Be the change you wish to see.
Are we done?
No, if anything, this chat has taught me, it's that real estate expectations are completely wrong for London. Completely wrong.
I have one other movie just sort of trope around London, apart from the unrealistic real estate expectations. If ever there's a movie where there's like a planetary scale threat, where something bad is going to happen and there's a threat to the whole world, in order to make that threat real and feel sort of credible in the film, the filmmakers will inevitably choose to destroy London. So if you think 2012, right? Everything starts going wrong, people starts
People love
dying,
blowing up Big Ben.
immediately cuts to the Queen dying. I know this isn't a great example, but the second G.I. Joe movie, there is some sort of like
I believe it's called G.I. Joe, something about snakes.
Snake Eyes.
snaky.
G.I. Joe
Isn't it
Snake Eyes.
Retaliation?
It's G.I. Joe
I think
Snake
it's
Eyes.
G.I. Joe 2.
And then G.I. Joe 3 is Rise
they-
of the Cobra. I used to work for the company who made it.
Oh my god!
Nice. But so in G.I. Joe 2 Snake Eyes, they have...
No, it's G.I. Joe.
Snake Eyes.
Wait. No, the first one looks like it's called G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Oh,
And then the
God, I
follow-up
got
was
it
G.I.
wrong.
Joe Retaliation,
Oh,
So in
Yeah,
G.I. Joe
Retaliation.
Retaliation...
which has Dwayne The Rock
I'm
Johnson in
so
it.
wrong.
Yeah, they got rid of all the original cast, or the cast refused
Oh.
to
It was
come
like a whole
back. I
mess.
don't know which, but it's all different
But
people.
they
Almost
have
like I gave
a
a shit
big-
about those movies.
Bruce Willis is in G.I. Joe Retaliation?
Kieran, take control.
They have
now.
a big weapon that destroys cities, and they immediately destroy London. That's all I wanted to say. Is if you're a serious filmmaker who needs to prove that a planetary threat is serious, you blow up London.
You blow up like
Or
the
every
sort of,
time.
like you blow up the center of like civilized human hub.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was saying
think
there.
it's just enough for Americans to be like, oh my god, that would be
worse.
terrible, but without feeling personally attacked that
Yeah.
their city got blown up.
Oh, that's so true.
Because
I
if you
think,
blow up like,
I think that's true. I think like if you think, holy shit, the Queen just got blown up, it's kind of real. The threat is
yeah,
real.
it's real.
Yeah, I think it's because the scale. When you think of like the UK, which is quite a big, it's a big deal on the world stage. But you blow up London, it feels like the UK is gone. But if you blow up like Washington, you still feel like America's still
I think
there.
as well, after 9/11, Americans were less keen to see American
Yeah.
monuments being destroyed, which is understandable, so they
So
started
it just was the
blowing up
next
London.
best thing.
Yeah.
Blow up London.
It's so true.
I reckon Dubai will be next. Like that's the place that is like it will look really impressive to blow up because they have these enormous buildings, all these
I
impossible
feel
things.
like Paris needs to be blown up more. They got the Eiffel Tower.
I think currently Paris is kind of second place to London.
I can't think of any movies.
I think we are on.
You know
something
what?
more.
It's true because they did like Olympus Has Fallen, right? And then the follow-up was like London Has Fallen, where they like started to blow up the whole of the city of London, right? Whereas like the original was just the White House, and then the second follow-up was like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just destroy the whole of London this time.
Yeah, because to Americans, London is about
Yeah.
the size of the
That's
Like,
true.
there's Big Ben, there's Buckingham Palace. And
Buckingham
that's it.
Palace.
Buckingham
Buckingham.
Palace,
Buckingham.
Leicester Square.
Oh my god, I've never seen more fun than Kieran's American cousins trying to say Worcestershire sauce.
What Worcestershire?
To be fair, it is spelled like Worcestershire.
It is.
Yeah, it's not their
it
fault.
really
But
is.
it
No,
is.
don't act like they're idiots. They're reading what's on the
I don't
bottle.
know how to say it. I just give it gumption and go every time. I'm like, just push up vowels.
I mean, this is from the person who used to call it Salisbury, not Salisbury.
I used to call Adele Adele.
Aww.
It's just somewhere where
All
you
right.
get your
Well,
meat.
I think we've done it. I think
made it
somehow
through.
we.
I We've made it through. We have been doing this now for over an hour, and I feel like, Kieran, you really should have done more to keep us in line and keep a flow going.
We didn't even get to the
Yeah,
good
yeah.
depictions of London. And, I thought that was going to be a segment in this, but I guess the hosting wasn't as great as I thought it would be.
No, I wish Danny had done this.
Oh, poor Kieran.
We'll have to save it for another podcast.
He's had to wrestle the impossible.
It goes to show that a good haircut
Exactly.
isn't everything.
Exactly.
Maybe if I grow my hair long, people will respect me.
Is that why we were all attacking him subconsciously? Because Kieran's the only one who's had a haircut?
I've had a
Only you to have a
haircut.
haircut. Mine does
My hair is
not.
great.
Look at my roots. My God.
Anyway,
Look at
Tara, you had an idea for next week's podcast.
Yes, Kieran.
Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Of course. So, I was thinking we could discuss some of the absolute classic films that we have failed to watch, and then convince each other to watch those
Wow.
classic
Why are you holding a
films.
God
pineapple?
damn it, listen, why did you rise to the bait? We knew he was holding a pineapple. We were listening to Tara, and we were like, let's ignore the pineapple and we can get through the podcast.
He's holding a pineapple! What am I supposed to do? Ignore it? No.
Be a professional.
I am a good friend. I notice things about my friends.
If Danny wants pineapple attention, he's
Danny, tell
getting
us about
it.
your pineapple.
Okay, so this is
Go
not
on.
this is not a plug, but we get this thing called Odd Box, and they send you wonky veg and sort of surplus fruit. And this week we got a pineapple in our box. Do you want a pineapple in your box?
Ooh.
I mean,
Use code.
That's
no,
not a
wait, you have to
euphemism.
pay us first.
Anyway,
Cool, yeah, so next week, big, super culturally important box office smash movies that you haven't seen.
I'm going to have to look through. I don't know how to say this to you guys, but I've seen all movies. I've seen all good movies.
I don't think I would get out of the IMDb top 10 before I found a movie that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I feel this would be very easy for me, for I am not cine literate.
I can think of one film where people might be like, why have you not seen that? I mean,
Chitty Chitty
well,
Bang Bang.
I can't say chitty chitty bang bang. I have to really think about the chitty chitty part.
my
So,
I leave out the T's. I just go
Chitty
chitty
Bang
chitty
Bang.
chitty.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Too much time
Chitty
with
Chitty
people from
Bang Bang.
Essex.
Chitty
yes.
Chitty Bang Bang is a pretty classic movie. But yes, we can.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you.
Oh yeah. Chitty Bang
And
Bang.
on that,
You wouldn't
I'm
get
just
it, Liz.
completely perplexed.
I'm trying to close the podcast.
No. Please go on with your Cockney ramblings.
I want a pineapple.
And on that note, we'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Bye.